Hello, welcome back to Down the Slope. Unfortunately, we're not recording on the back of a Hibs win. Hibs shipped four on Friday night, but we have a famous five put together. We're at full strength. Ryan is with us, what will we say, on a permanent basis now, and Greg's decided to show up for the first time in a while. So we're looking pretty healthy, and I'm joined by Harry and Liam, who've been more regular than Greg. But how we all doing, Greg? Come to you first. You've been fizzing.
That was harsh, by the way. Liam's not been seen for weeks, man.
Neither of you.
Aye, but still, I'm alright. Aye, aye.
Feeling better, recovered?
Recovered, aye, but I don't know about feeling better. When you get to my age, you start getting sore all the time, anyway.
All right, Harry, what about yourself?
I am all right. Well, nah, you ken the rules actually. Hibs lose, Harry's shite, so I'm shite, mate. That's how I'm doing.
Liam and Ryan, I don't want to be harsh, but we could be doing introductions here for far too long if we went round all five of you, so we'll just assume that you are both all right. Ryan, we'll come to you first. Aberdeen on Friday night. We made the trip up. Team, let's start with the team. Not too many changes. Kyle McGuinness came back in.
Aye, and I'll give you credit for this because you actually called the team about 2 hours before it came out in the car. You called the formation as well, so credit where credit's due, my man. I was happy enough with the team, to be honest. Thought it would be the ideal team to go up there and do the job.
Liam, the probably one surprise would have been Henderson and McGuinness as opposed to one or the other and a striker up with Kukurevich. Were you disappointed or?
Nah, it just looked like a lot of centre midfielders, I think was my reflection on the team. I'm maybe not the biggest advocate of 3-5-2. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it at the same time. So I don't know. Can I ask Ryan, though, did you know how you said Ewan called the team? Did he actually call the team, or did he name about 7 different versions of the team? Because I've been before the game, and he normally says about 25 different versions of what the team might be, and then he'll go, "Oh, I called it. I called it."
No, I never.
Which edition did you call?
To be fair to him, he only made one change to the team, and it was the one that happened. Okay. So yeah, fair play, like.
What a check.
There was a bad habit on Friday night. I called the team, then Marshall saved the penalty, and I went, he's off his line. Everyone else around us went mental. I was like, he's off his line. Because, like, just with VAR, we were right on the touchline, so I was looking at it. I was like, that was what I was looking for, that, really. He took a good step forward. And then, what was it? Was it the second goal, Ryan, as well? The corner. Before he into the corner, I was like, goal. So, I just, Friday night wasn't great. Shame it didn't transpire into Saturday's betting activity, but aye. Greg, the back three remained the same, all that. Is that something, at least before the game, that you wanted to see, or is it time to shift back to a 4?
No, I quite like 3-5-2. I've probably been the biggest advocate of it on the podcast. I think when you've got 3 centre halves there, you're expecting defending with 3 centre halves as opposed to 2. Obviously, that didn't transpire at all. But I think with 3-5-2, we get more players in the positions that they can actually play, like Cadden. So I like it, but on Friday night there was far too many individual errors out with the formation.
Yeah, Harry, right, let's get into the game. But again, everyone's not going to get the chance to speak on everything tonight. Hibs started the game well. I thought Aberdeen probably had, like, the opening 5 minutes or so, Aberdeen probably got into the game quicker, but after that, Hibs pretty dominant.
I disagree with that. I think Aberdeen looked pretty pathetic the entire first half. I didn't feel threatened by them at all. And I just thought Hibs played pretty.
About 2.5 minutes in, so.
Mate, but that's no starting a game well.
Yeah, I said the first 5 minutes.
But mate, starting the ball kicking around the back, that's no starting the game well. It didn't get in our half until about 3 minutes. But I wasn't impressed by Aberdeen at all. In the first half, I thought Hibs had by far the better of it. I think we didn't create good chances. We put ourselves in positions in which we should have created good chances, but we just never got ourselves into a position to even get close to the trigger, never mind pull it. So yeah, it's kind of story of the season so far in which we look good in certain phases of the game, but the phases that actually matter, we seem to be lacking in.
Liam, you were nodding along there with Harry. What did you make of that? Because there's only really one chance in it, Henderson's header. So what did you make really of that opening 44 minutes of the game.
I thought we were good without the ball. I thought our press was good, intensity was good. It was quite clear that what the trigger was the minute the ball went to the full back, we hemmed them in. Thought in possession, I thought we were no better than okay, probably worse than okay, to be honest. I just felt in possession, some of the decision making wasn't great. We kind of lacked creativity. Henderson continues to pick up really good positions, but when he gets into those good positions, doesn't really look capable of doing a huge amount with it. I think the encouraging thing is that he is still getting into those positions, but I thought there was loads of good things we did without the ball. The kind of space that was created by both of the wide centre backs, they were able to kind of take the ball 20-30 yards up the pitch as well, which was helping us at times, helps us distribute the ball a wee bit better from the back. I thought there was loads of good things without the ball, but probably with the ball I'm struggling beyond a couple of examples I've mentioned to think of anything else that was hugely positive.
Ryan, at the game you commented quite a few times, and it's sort of what Liam said there about Henderson. You felt, I think, on Friday that, albeit maybe when he got it didn't do much, we should have been getting the ball to him quicker. A lot of the time, in acres of space.
Aye, what he done really well is he kind of peeled off his marker and created a 2-on-1 situation out in the wide right where Karen was, and that's where you want the overloads to happen. And the ball just wasn't coming out to him. But I think there, if we were to capitalise on those sort of situations, we might have got a wee bit more out of it. But we tended to play different passes. I don't know if that was the pattern we were meant to play, but I felt like he was definitely creating 2-on-1 situations with Karen.
Greg, I think maybe it's frustration, but Kukrevich has been very good, obviously, pretty much since he came in. But in the first half, I thought he was really wasteful when he got on the ball, especially in and around the box. Maybe just felt like decision making a bit indecisive during this because he wasn't getting much. So when he was on the ball, he was maybe a bit greedy.
I felt like out with the two boxes, we were okay, but as soon as we got in the box of the final third, we were dreadful. We couldn't make anything stick. We couldn't get it working. I don't know. I mean, we keep saying it's the story of the season, but how long does the story of the season go on for? I felt like, I think Kukrevich is a good player. He can certainly make things happen himself, but he needs to be doing better for me. But again, we see it week in, week out where we just waste chances and waste opportunities in the final third, and we huff and puff getting balls into the box, and not great.
I think we're probably doing the first half performance about enough credit. Like we were good without creating a lot of it. If it goes in at halftime 0-0 like that though, we're probably all pretty happy and expecting us to come out in the second half and take more control and win the game. Like, would you have been happy enough 0-0 with that level of control at halftime? Anyone?
Probably not. I think if you're controlling the game, you need to score. Whether you go in 0-0 or whatever, you need to score when you're in control. And if you don't, then you leave yourself susceptible to losing goals. So if you don't score when you're on top, then that's a worry.
Yeah.
Are we in danger of maybe giving Hibs a wee bit too much credit for dominating the ball in a game where we started with 4 or 5 centre midfielders on the park as well? Like, I've not really seen that picked up in any of the commentary about the game, but if you play a system that gives you lots of guys who are going to dominate the ball, surely that would be the expectation. But then the expectation beyond dominating the ball would be to actually do something with it when you have so much of it. I don't know. That's a question, not a...
Yeah, I think with what you said, Liam, as well, the fact that you get the press right, the centre halves were playing high, that lets you, you are winning the ball back quicker. So it is the good defensive stuff in the first half is giving you more opportunity on the ball. And we didn't do a lot, but with that higher line, Harry, there was a few times in the first half that sort of one ball looked like it could cause us a lot of problems. Rocky dealt with the majority of them really well. David Marshall came out of spots a few times and swept up, and then Duk was it Duk that had the shot that got cleared off the line by Chibraya? Obviously, that was that one real golden chance of the half, which for our dominance, it did fall to Aberdeen.
Ewan, you've resorted back to the old Ewan way of answering a question instead of asking one. But one thing that I do think's valid there, I feel set pieces is something that we're leaving ourselves very open at the back from. There was times where there was one time in the first half, I think it was the Duk chance, where it was literally Jabraya was on the halfway line, and then we had 3 Aberdeen players in our half before we had another Hibs player in the half, and it was like, how can we have an attacking set piece and be prone to one long ball up like that's what you do in the last 5 minutes when you're chasing a game. No, when it's 0-0 30 minutes in. So like that's a simple fix. Just leave more players at the back. Like just leave 2 at the back like normal teams do. Otherwise you're gonna concede stupid goals like we nearly did.
Yeah, Ryan, you commented at the game that, and again it did go into the second half, but pretty much everything Aberdeen done well in the game came on the counter attack.
Yeah, I think not even in this game, but I think during parts of games in the season we've looked very vulnerable in the counter attack, and I don't know if that's the fact that we're maybe overcommitting when it comes to set pieces and trying to get as many bodies forward as possible. But we looked very vulnerable against Aberdeen. They had the chance, obviously cleared off the line, like you were just talking about. 2 corners and the penalty all come from counter attacking positions.
Let's get on to the penalty. Me and Ryan won't speak too much about it, having been at the game. You're left in the absolute dark, especially being up at that fucking dump with no communication at all. Liam, take us off on the penalty. When you first seen it on the telly, did you think it might have been a penalty, or straight away were you sure?
Well, first of all, I thought it was offside at first look. Obviously, it turned out not. The minute I saw it, though, I was pretty certain it was a dive, just because of, you look at this as Michael Stewart would probably describe this as body or biomechanics, whatever it is he likes to call it. But you look at Duke's position, he basically gets himself in a position where he can jump over the goalkeeper with both of his arms out, and it's a very clear dive in action. I think the words that managers who'd be really kind would say he's anticipated the contact, which is just another way of saying that he's dived to win a penalty, which is what he's done in this instance.
Harry, you're usually quite abrupt when it comes to opposition players and their antics. What did you make it?
It's the main embarrassment's the ref. The fact that a man can be paid money to go over to a screen and deem that as a foul is just pathetic. And the thing is, for me as well, like, it's just not a penalty. Even if the contact is there, he's booted the ball out the pitch. It's like the ball's no longer in play. Like, yeah, literally, by the time he's contacted him, the ball's out the pitch.
I was going to say, see, I take it that's different from the sense of, mind the Celtic goal against Hearts that they couldn't review because the ref had blew the whistle.
So if
the ball's out of play, is the game not dead?
It should have been. But the thing is, they made a big VAR fiasco and they'd already started the checks anyway. Like, we knew this was going to happen. We knew that the game would get ruined. And from, like, regardless, I know Greg's going to slate me for saying this, but it very well could have been a massively different result had that penalty not been given. Like, obviously, our second half performance was nowhere near it, but you're going to be demoralised if you go in 1-0 down at half-time because the referee's put you 1-0 down at half-time. It's as simple as that.
Aye, Greg, before we talk about what the result would have been, just wrap us up on your thoughts on the penalty.
Jim Goodwin goes on about players diving. I think he needs to look at his own players. That's
a few they've got like that this season.
I mean, I just don't get it. How you look at the player and how he's gone over, leaped over, and you think, oh, that's a penalty. I don't know. I mean, look, we said it before VAR came in. You've still got the same idiots running it, so it really doesn't. Nothing's going to change because these people will interpret the rules differently. We've already seen that, to be fair. But yeah, and I'm also going to pick Harry up on the fact he said the result could have been different. I don't care if you're the
I didn't say it could have been different. I said would have been different because it definitely would have been.
Right, because you're demoralised. You need to pick yourself up. Decisions go against you in football, ultimately. You need to come out in the second half and stand up and be counted, not cower away like we did.
I think you're both right. I think without the penalty, the result would be different. But I think Hibs did actually come out up to the point of the goal on the front foot in the second half. and we got hit on the counter. And then that's when the whole shit hit the fan as far as I was concerned. I was at the 53rd or 55th minute, I think maybe the second goal was. Like, I still felt like that opening period in the second half, Hibs were the team in the ascendancy. It's just what happened after that. But yeah, let's take a wee sidetrack here. We've all experienced VAR now multiple times. Ryan, was that the worst yet? And not even in the sense that the decision's going against Hibs, just the length of time it's taken.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's the worst yet. There just seemed to be a lot of confusion from the referee, the players. There didn't seem to be much communication on field as to what was happening. Marshall and the referee were arguing over it for a while. I think it was about 2.5 minutes before he even got sent over to the screen. I mean, that's ridiculous. If it takes that long to come to a decision, it's not clear and obvious.
Aye, Liam, Harry, Greg, Ennie's here. How many did someone say it was only one look the ref took in terms of angle as well? Just the one angle slowed right down and.
Well, I don't know. Kenny Clark was on the radio on Sunday saying, I don't know what his role is now, but obviously he had like a chief of referees role at one point. That in Scotland they see 6 different angles, unless it's a televised game, then they see more. But based on the broadcast that I think most people were watching, it only looked like he was showing one angle, but we don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know specifically what was shown on the screen. And the one angle he's showing is the one that's taken from behind Duk at Marshall, the kind of standard game camera.
Like when Marshall would sort of cover.
Which is it's kind of inconclusive, to be honest, that angle. You do see Marshall rush out, but then you also see Duk make quite a clear jump in motion. So I don't know. It's really hard for us to comment on without knowing what he saw. But if there's 6 angles, then you'd hope that then the referee would get the right call because he would see everything that he needs to see.
And then again, come out and tell us what you've seen, because this is the other thing. I mean, it leaves a lot of ifs and buts. And
do you think
why don't you come out and? Well, I mean, so I think with Sky you get 14 cameras, but a normal game you get 6 or something. So please show us what else you've seen there, because from what we've seen, it's not a penalty. And however they look at it, surely nobody thinks that's a penalty. I just don't get it. And this was always going to be the danger, is that if they have been shown a couple of angles or slowed right down. I mean, we've talked so much in this podcast about freeze frames. You can't play football in freeze frames because it tells a totally different story.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like, if every single goal, nearly every single goal that's scored, you could disallow. If you look hard enough, you can find something on that stupid camera that they've got to disallow a goal. Like, it's ridiculous. VAR is shit. The people that use it are shit. The people that want it, no offence, because I know Leon likes VAR so far, are shit. Just pick yourselves up and get rid of it.
Do you not think, again, the length of time it took to decide that the penalty needed to be retaken was far too long as well?
Far too long. Far too long. I think we had the ball in Aberdeen's half by the time we decided that it was going to be retaken, eh?
Yeah, like the ball. I don't know if you had to wait for the ball going out of play, because I think the ball went out of play. But surely when it's an instant like that, you just blowing the whistle.
You just blow up straight away.
It technically needs to be reviewed, though. It's the same as like the linesman no flagging until the play's over.
But surely they're reviewing it in the background, Harry. Like the guys at whoever the ref is at VAR HQ. Surely they're looking at
the way it's seen. The ref at VAR HQ doesn't make the decision. They consult the referee.
No, knowing that.
Referee then makes the decision.
If he's coming off his line, then the ref is the same way offside. That's black.
But it's still the ref that gets the final say on it, so they can't interfere until. Let's not argue about what the workings are of VAR. We've got 4 goals we got pumped into chat through.
No, so what happens is basically the boy HQ will say, look, this is what's happened.
But surely if he's off his line, then it's just then it gets retaken. That's black and white, like offside, isn't it?
Well, it's clearly not, because he went to the monitor.
Aye.
He never went to the monitor for the.
Did he not?
I think he went to the monitor for the.
I never seen him going to the monitor, but mind you, I was still celebrating.
Literally, Ryan's going fucking nuts beside me. There's these wee laddies like sitting. I was just like, I was like, mate, he's off his line. Like, and actually, it took that long that I was starting to come round to the fact, like,
I know. I see.
Oh, here we go. Like it
should
wasn't off his line, and it was like, was it? I can't remember. It was either Harry or Greg a few weeks ago. Were like, you didn't want to celebrate.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. I was refusing to celebrate the penalty save. Then I was just coming round to it, and then he said it had to be retaken. It was fucking depressing. Right. Anyway, VAR sidetrack done. Second half. Anyone want to see any changes at halftime, or were we fairly happy that we would at least give it some time and stick with what we had?
I was happy enough for them to go as it was, and if the score stayed the same, then maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes in, I said to you that I would like to have seen Mitchell, if he was fit, to come on the left-hand side just to give us a wee bit more attacking threat down there.
Yeah. Harry, Greg, any changes for you at halftime?
Nah, not really for me, mate. I
Well, we give them the I'd probably give them the benefit of the doubt after
And the general
how we played between the boxes. I would give us the benefit of the doubt, expecting things to click more.
Yeah.
In the second half, as it has done, in terms of away goals this season.
I did personally want to see Melkson start, so I wouldn't have minded seeing him come on at half time, but oh bloody.
Right. This goal 2 comes from a cross. Obviously, the actual corner directly. It does come from a counter attack, as we referenced earlier. The corner, and I'll let you three take it away. I don't know if Ryan's watched it back. I've not. What the fuck happened?
I've not seen it back because I'm disgusted about it.
That was the one that was a really bad. Was it Cadden? Fortress? Which one was it for that goal?
I don't know. I don't know. Greg or Liam will have to tell you. That's why I'm asking.
Greg, for the second goal, talk us through it.
Harry, you can't just start saying, "Oh well, I'll take this one," and then decide that you know what in it.
That's which one it was.
Look, it's another cross in it. Like fucking hell, many times we need to concede for crosses. Genuine question: how many times we need to concede for crosses before?
I feel like it has only cropped up again in the last couple of games.
No, it's still not acceptable though. I mean, look at St Johnston. Fucking, that was bad enough, and then you've got players not picking up or being lazy and not putting the effort in to track their man, not attacking the ball. It's just basic stuff. Like, how easy is it to score corners against Aberdeen Football Club?
Honestly,
very easy.
Honestly,
it's like penalties.
I didn't want to. But is this the first? Is that not the first goal we've conceded for a corner this season?
You can see crosses, corners, mate. Same thing.
No, you just said how easy is it to score for a corner. I'm just saying.
In Greg's defence, that is the easiest goal I've ever seen in my life. Like the ball just got whipped in, and he just nodded it, and it went in the back of the net. Yeah, but one thing that fucked me off. Why the fuck are people blaming Marshall? What the fuck did he do wrong? He got a penalty given against him for no reason. That goal we couldn't have done anything about. The other two goals we couldn't have done anything about. Like, moan about the shitey defending from Porteous, moan about the shite bagness from Cadden, moan about Joe Newell jumping underneath the ball for the fourth goal. Didn't blame people that have had good seasons.
Joe Newell that lost the man for the second, actually, wasn't it? I think Miovski pulled off him. That was the one.
Aye. It was just pathetic. I don't think there's value in breaking down the goals one by one. We've seen the highlights unless you were there and you refused to watch them. I think that, as Greg said, in the air, we're missing out on a leader. We need someone that actually conducts the box. I think where the ball was placed, I don't think it's the type of position that the keeper should be coming out for. And if he does and misses it, then it's his fault. So I'd not blame Marshall for that.
A leader, though, because Rocky
you need someone to take accountability and responsibility when balls come in the box, because nobody does.
I disagree with that. I think that's a team thing. I don't think one individual gives you all the accountability you need. I think it's a team thing. I think there's a lot of people looking to blame individuals in the wake of a 4-1 defeat, but actually, I look at that team and I don't know who comes out of that game with credit. None of them.
I think Rocky was like. I know we conceded 4. I don't think Rocky had a bad game.
Centre back doesn't get any credit when you lose the game 4-1. I'm sorry, but
I would say first half Rocky was really good, but
it was good first half.
If you're shipping 4 goals in 50 minutes of football, I agree with Liam. Like,
Collective is piss poor.
yeah,
The collective is piss poor. The efforts to clear both the balls into the box, corners, crosses, whatever you want to call them, are poor. The response after going 1-0 down wasn't adequate. When the way we finished the game wasn't adequate. Guys not getting back when we're on the counter attack when they need to. Just it wasn't good enough from a team collective. I've seen those people that single out individuals, but why are you singling out individuals when no one comes at that game with credit?
Yeah.
For me, we've already spoke about Aberdeen's chances, and I don't know how many times we've talked about them hitting us on the counter. These are professional football players who should be able to read the game better. If we're getting hit on the counter every time, then we need to do something to stop that. But we didn't. And that's why we shipped 4 goals, because we were very naive defensively in terms of defending corners, crosses, whatever you want to call them. But then in the same token, we're not doing the things right in terms of they're hitting us on the counter. You know, let us learn for that.
Yeah.
So if you don't learn, then you're never going to get anywhere, and you're not going to achieve anything with defending like that. And look, that's not just on the defence, right? Like that isn't a corner. There's many players in the box,
Right.
but someone needs to be doing better, and whether that's one individual or collectively, we need to be taking responsibility in there. And if you need to smash boys out the way to go and win headers and do it, you need to be showing a lot more desire to defend crosses or corners into our box.
Can we just take a sidetrack for everyone that's on YouTube and just ask Liam what kind of ice cream it is he's getting?
Oh, it's not. It's Lidl's protein puddings. They're very good. Like,
that's why he's the model. That's why he's the model.
Nah, it's not. My diet's been a disgrace the last few weeks. I'm honestly, I look like a sack of shit now, so I'm trying to sort my diet out.
That's fucking bullshit, mate. We seen you before the fucking St Johnstone game, unless you've had a house and week.
I'm not in good nick now, like, so I'm trying to sort my life out. Not been going to the gym. I've not been eating right. I've just been eating takeaways and that basically.
You and Wilson
living the life, man.
7 to 2022.
Nah. Yeah, we got to you eventually, Liam. Yeah, down the slope. There you go.
It'll not happen. Like, I'll stay strong.
Something that we don't need to necessarily reference this directly to the Aberdeen game. I probably will, but I'd like to get everyone's opinion on this. Sort of divided us in the group chat on Friday night after the game, and that's mentality. I think we've seen it on Twitter and forums, etc. And it's a word that gets branded about a lot. At Hibs in general, season on season. For me, when we go 2 goals down on Friday night, we lost all composure on the ball. Like, as much as what we've said there, up to that point, we had moved the ball up to a point very, very well and got into positions where a little bit more killer instinct or a little bit more quality, you create chances and score goals. The moment we went 2-0 down, I thought we just lost. And that's for me the mentality. They lost all composure and all confidence in what they were doing. I think if we kept playing the way we've been playing, yeah, we would have still been open in the back for a counter-attack. But I still think the chances would have come. Greg, you've been quite big on mentality and stuff as well. Where are you landing on
it? Mentality covers a lot of things. I was angry on Friday night, not gonna lie. For me, I just think after half time, I wasn't impressed at all. We could have come out and we could have stood up, but it just felt like we shied away from it. And then they scored a second and we really didn't want it. We just wanted the full-time whistle, I thought. Even when we got a goal back, no desire to go and do anything.
Yeah, Aberdeen was on the ropes at that point.
So I felt like we were just defeated at half time, really. I just knew that we weren't going to really do much in the second half. We weren't going to get anything out of the game as soon as we came out in the second half. I wasn't impressed. And it was the same against St Johnstone, to be honest. We shat the bed big time. Absolutely shat the bed. Even if you've got 10 men, you can still defend. You can still go and be a threat.
St Johnstone was nothing to do with
the equaliser. So yeah, I just think we need to be stronger. Just think we need to be a lot stronger. And look, I know Liam questioned the mentality shout. So it'd be good to get his thoughts, but
No. My question, I wasn't questioning Diggy's out. My question was just generally, I wanted to know what he's meant. I think you summed up well, Greg, at the start when you said it covers a lot of things. And I think, to be honest, when people use the word mentality, that to me strikes of Yogi Hughes saying football folk ken what's going on, because it's just a word that football people use to describe a whole array of things because they don't know the words that they actually want to use. So that's my only reason for questioning it, because I think there's mentality in the sense of being brave, because that's a part of your mentality, and being brave enough to take the ball when it's difficult. And there's no time that's more difficult than when you're 2-3-0 down away from home and the opposition fans having a fucking fantastic time and you're miserable. That's brave. There's a mentality thing around ownership and holding one another accountable. We've talked about accountability being important, but I think it's just too many things to talk about mentality. Yeah. It's one big word, and people talk about Hibs mentality. The mentality changes when personnel come and go from a club. A club's mentality does not stay static. So see people that say it's been this way for years, the mentality is weak. I don't agree with that. Fundamentally, I don't agree with it, because you take the personnel who create the culture in any fucking establishment you work in, you move them on, the mentality changes. And it does. I'm sorry, fact. Mentality at Hibs changed when Leanne Dempster took over and we brought Alan Stubbs in. The mentality of the club and the culture changed because the whole playing squad changed. The mentality, in the its broadest sense, under Lee Johnson will have changed with the number of players that we brought in over the course of the summer. But I don't know. It's just a term that the minute I hear it, it gets my back up when I hear people talk about it, because people use it as a stick to beat the club with and talk about it in a sense of weakness. And it's not always been a weakness.
Do you think people go on about mentality under Lennon as well, but we still conceded shite goals. So
we got fucked up at Aberdeen 4-1 under him,
right? Exactly. So I mean, you go on it. Mentality is not just one size fits all. It covers an absolute pile of things.
Back in doing for Friday night, you're such a shite.
No, well, it does.
What you're doing is a lot of things.
No, but look, there was elements of Friday night that weren't good enough, and a lot of them do come under mentality. That's just a fact.
What?
Yeah.
I seen a few tweets on Friday night. I only looked at Twitter for about 5 minutes of the car journey home. Then me and Ryan spoke the most amount of shite for 2.5 hours. Do you think, if anything, though,
do you get a word in edgeways, Ryan? Nah.
You know more than me.
Hey, we're having a right good yap, like. Don't know.
It's just the same as listening to sports sound for Ryan.
It wasn't about football anyway. That was the last thing that was on our mind. I see what Liam said there, Ryan, about mentality and stuff. There's been a lot of tweets. Or I'll say a lot. I've seen a few. Being like, can we criticise Johnson? Blah blah blah. It's unacceptable. Celtic game, this game. With everything that Liam said, if anything, would you say that's even more of an argument that you need to give the manager, the playing squad time? It is only, 6 months into his reign, if that?
Yeah, I think there needs to be a bit of longevity when it comes to management now at Hibs, because you can see over the last, I think we spoke about it in the car, in our lifetime, there's never been a manager that's been in place for really any longer than 3 years. It's been kind of a revolving door policy when it comes to managers. So there needs to be somebody in place for a long period of time that we're going to kind of put our trust in, back them, and hopefully eventually the people that are questioning mentality will see that changing over time. As Liam was saying, I think it has changed. And it is a very broad stroke when people talk about mentality. But for me, I see it in a more basic term as well. When we're 2-0 down, I still want to see people winning their 50-50s, winning their headers, being brave on the ball, go past somebody, take a shot on from the edge of the box. Even that I class as mentality.
Yeah. Harry, you're not going to speak about it. Right. We're going to lift the mood up, and it's going into a section where Harry will only speak again. It's been a while since it's been in. We've got a full house, and Liam's bringing back Guess Who?
Harry, I'm just going to start sending you the answers on fucking DM so you can get it up you for that comment. There's interestingly, we've not done Guess Who for a while, and not a single person has asked for it to come back, but we're doing it anyway because we just wanted something to break up all the negativity with something a wee bit more fun, and we just wanted to have a laugh at each other's expense. So Guess Who, I'll reveal 5 clues about 5 Hibs players, one after the other. You can jump in. Seeing as there's 4 of us, just jump in whenever you like. Jump in whenever you like, but you have a guess, you're out. All right?
Okay.
Okay, my first player I made my debut for my national team at the 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup. I made 8 appearances in all competition for Hibs during the 2020 to 2021 season.
How many appearances?
8 appearances in all comps.
That doesn't help you, Harry. Don't you worry.
I never featured for the club that I joined Hibs from on loan.
Accent Irvin.
I'm not telling you. I've spent most of my career playing in the English non-league and some of it in the English lower leagues.
Oh,
Of my 8 appearances during the 2020-2021 season, 4 of them came in the League Cup group stages. That's the COVID season for anyone that's struggling with timelines.
And what year was the CONCACAF thing?
2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup. That was his one and only appearance for his country.
2020, 2021, 8 appearances. League Cup, so he signed in the summer.
Will I give you a wee bonus clue?
aye.
And let Ryan
For those that listened to the transfer at Red Amber Green special we did, I told a really fucking dull story about him.
Just shows we weren't fucking listening to each other.
Right, one more bonus clue, and you'll get it the minute I reveal this. I'm a goalkeeper.
Dylan Barnes.
Aye, correct.
Oh, what?
One appearance for Jamaica at the 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Dylan Barnes, Hibs hero. Harry, you look befuddled.
And I thought his nationality on Football Manager is English, so I would never have thought him.
Football Manager gets things wrong sometimes. Just ask Ian Gordon.
I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it.
That's what behind us on Friday night. He was in the cheap seats. Didn't even have a roof over his head.
2 rows behind us, aye.
That's how the other half live, eh? Right. Anyway, my next player. During my youth career, I spent time at Celtic and Liverpool.
Right.
I played in England, Scotland, the north of Ireland, and the US of A. I made 5 appearances for Scotland under-21s, scoring 3 goals.
It's pretty prolific, isn't it?
I made 13 appearances for Hibs in the latter half of the 2005-2006 season, scoring 1 goal. However, that 1 goal that I scored was a pretty memorable one against Kilmarnock.
No, it's not. 2005-2006 was Moby.
The Celtic Liverpool thing at the start's a bit of a clue.
That is the name of the game, aye. Did he play for either of them, like first team?
No. Did play for Newcastle to start his career. There's an extra clue. Don't know if that helps anyone. Probably not, to be honest.
Oh, Liam, nah, I'm stumped, man.
Oh, I was only about 7 then, eh?
I'm stumped on that one. That's Mowbray's second season, isn't it?
05-06, aye.
Caldwell.
Nah.
Did play for Newcastle.
He played a lot more times than that, perhaps.
What position we talking, Liam?
I mean, that was
he was sort of an attacking midfielder. You'd maybe describe him as sort of like a second striker.
I cannot think.
Danny Galbraith.
No.
Shut up, Harry.
2005, 2006.
I'll tell you what. I'll read through the teams that he's managed, right, since he retired. So he was assistant manager of Houston Dynamo. Then went on to manage FC Tampa Bay, the Austin Aztecs, assistant at Real Salt Lake, back to the Austin
Paul
Aztecs.
Dalglish.
Correct, Paul Dalglish.
Actually, I can see the goal for it, actually, yeah. He played wide midfielder.
I sort of. He kind of played. He was an attacking midfielder, really. Like he played.
He played for Livy at one point. Did I make that
He
up?
did. Livy before Hibs.
Oh.
He was at Livy before Hibs. There we go. Based on how difficult that last one was, I'm not sure if I want to do this. But we'll go for it, right? Or maybe make the clues a wee bit better. Or maybe make the clues a wee bit easier. So I made 5 appearances for Hibs during the 2006-2007 season.
Right.
I made 10 appearances for Hungary, scoring 1 goal.
Oh,
Dennis Rosa.
Dennis, aye.
I'll continue.
Oh no.
I've played in a number of different countries during my playing career. Hungary, France, a wee spell in Slovakia.
Liam, is he a centre half?
No.
Oh, I guess that's my
I don't know
guess.
why I told you that when I wasn't part of the clues.
Sorry.
In Greece. It's fair to say I'm a bit of a journeyman.
Am I still in? Or am I out?
You're out.
Right, sounds.
Ryan, it's me and you. I think we're both fucked, mate.
I'm stumped.
I'm a 6-foot striker.
Oh, just fucking hell, man.
And this final clue. In just my second match for Hibs, I came on as a half-time substitute in a Scottish Cup quarter-final and scored the decisive goal in a 2-1 win.
I'm not gonna. I don't think the name's gonna ring a bell, to be honest, at this point.
No.
Pass.
Away at Queen of the South, Thomas Suwimni.
The name rings a bell, but I would have been
I
here
didn't
about
remember
40
guess
years,
who
mate.
being this hard.
I know. I just thought before it is on, I thought it'd make it a wee bit more difficult, but I've clearly over-egged it and made it too difficult.
You've outdid us, man.
Okay. Player number 4, first clue, spent my entire playing career playing in Scotland. I started out as a youth player at Hibs and went on to make 24 appearances between 2007 and 2010. I finished my career at Brecon City, where I made 69 appearances, scoring 2 goals.
Just going to guess Kevin McCann.
Celtic once showed some interest in signing me before I'd made my first appearance for Hibs. Perhaps the incident that I'm most remembered for during my time at Hibs took place outside an Edinburgh nightclub.
Darren McCormack.
Correct. Darren McCormack. Player number 4.
Ewan's on fire.
Aye.
I'm playing against myself, man.
Right. 5th and final clue. I'm currently managing a club in the Scottish lower leagues. I had 2 spells at Hibs.
Ian Murray.
Ian Murray.
Ian Murray. I'm not even going to do the rest
Oh,
of this. I made that one too easy.
damn it. That was going to be my guess as well, but you.
Well done, Ewan. 4 out of 5.
Right. Something that Hibs haven't done is win 4 out of the 5 games that we kept on getting asked about before the World Cup. There's 2 of them left. Ross County tomorrow night, tonight, last night, depending on whenever you're listening to this, and Kilmarnock on Saturday. We're going to follow the chain that we've been getting for the listeners. How imperative is it that we take 6 out of 6 from this round?
So a couple of weeks ago, I think I said that the games coming up weren't imperative for the season, but I've kind of changed my viewpoint given the results in the last couple of games. I think it's vitally important that we get 6 from 6 in the next 2 games.
Anyway. Right, Liam, will Hibs get 6 out of 6 from these 2 games?
No. Going to be honest, nah, probably not. I know that's a question, but no. A record against Kilmarnock on a plastic pitch. I don't think we'll take 3 points to Saturday. I think we might win tomorrow night, but I don't think we'll win on Saturday.
Greg, tomorrow's huge, isn't it? Home form has been pretty decent, St Johnstone aside. Aberdeen are good at home. Hearts are good at home. All three teams are pretty suspect away from home. Tomorrow's massive, really, isn't it, to make sure that we're at least getting the 3 points before the World Cup.
Anything less than 3 points would really be a bit of a disaster, to be honest. These are the games that you want to be.
Games, sorry, just.
We'll start off with tomorrow. I think if we don't get a win, then that's. I mean, it's not good enough, obviously, but Ross County haven't been in great form. We are good at home. Really, we should be taking 3 points and dishing out a bit of a beating. However, I think we'll look at Friday and there'll probably be a lot of questions and how the players bounce back. But a win tomorrow is a must, and we do also need to win on Saturday. There's no question.
Yeah.
But I can't see us getting 6 points out of the 2 games.
You can't.
No, I can't. Our away form's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think. And Kelly aren't really doing that well either. So usually when teams are struggling and they play us, they get a win. So,
that really stupid fucking table that you sent us today that was all backside forward. Am I right in saying that suggested that they think they're unbeaten in 4? Is that right?
Who, Kelly?
Good for you.
I think they were unbeaten in 4 and then got beat the other night. So.
Oh fuck! I let me beat them, didn't they? Sorry.
Yeah, maybe not in worse form than I'm giving them credit for.
Righty, Harry, you give us your 2 pence on County and Kelly, and hit us with a couple of score predictions. We've been chatting for long enough, and I know we've still to come to the highlight of your show.
My show, I like that. I'm going to say we'll beat Ross County tomorrow 4-0, and then we'll beat Kilmarnock 3-1. Easy pickings.
Greg?
2-0 tomorrow, and we'll get beat 3-1 at the weekend.
I'm taking 3-0 tomorrow night and 1-0 at the weekend. Liam?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Specky and say 4-0 tomorrow and a drab 0-0 draw to finish off the World Cup break in true Scottish football fashion.
Make us all look forward to the World Cup.
I'm not going to go that far.
I'm not watching that rat fest.
Represent just how much we're looking forward to the World Cup.
I will watch it, but I think I speak for most of us anyway that I've spoken to that it's very difficult to get excited about the tournament, to be honest.
I've said I'm boycotting it.
I really can't be arsed with it.
It's normally you get excited. It's because it's in the summer. You half the games you'll be at the pub for or whatever. Just shite. And what the first game is the week after next, isn't it? Like it's not like there's.
The opening game's Qatar v Ecuador. Imagine getting excited to watch Qatar v Ecuador. I wouldn't watch them if they're playing in my back green.
Ryan, score predictions for the next 2 games, mate.
2-0 tomorrow. I think it's important that we see a reaction, and 1-0 away to Kelly.
So me and Harry going for 6, and the rest of you are going for 4, and Greg's going for 3.
I want 6, but I can't see us getting 6.
Nah. Right, Harry. Listener questions. What have we got?
Hey, all right, boys. Listener questions. Thanks so much for sending them in as always. First up, we've got the real Dave G, and he said, "Are fans' expectations too high? And can we just admit that all football in Scotland is pretty meh with little or no levels of consistency?" Liam, you speak the best of us. You can answer that question first.
I mean, first of all, just dig Dave out for his Twitter handle, because let's be honest, no one would pretend to be Dave G, would they? Like, no guy that a lot of people are going about impersonating fucking Norwich City Football Club's biggest fan. What was his question about consistency? I think he's probably on a fair point. I think the financial gulf between the top 2 and then the rest of the clubs in Scotland is massive, and then the gap between Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen and the rest of the league isn't as big, but then Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen more often than not expect to beat the rest of the teams. But the reality is the gap isn't that great. The quality of players that we can attract is slightly better, just because we've got a better facilities, we live in a better city than most of those are teams, and we can offer slightly more money. But the gulf between the quality of players at our club versus some of our clubs in the league is not that great, to be honest. There's quite a few players in the Livingston team, for example, who would probably get into our starting 11 most weeks. There's players probably playing for Killie Ross County who would be, if not in the starting 11, probably knocking on the door. So, Scottish football can be a bit meh. Like, the teams are all kind of capable of beating each other, but in some respects, I like that. I'd rather that than playing a league where there's 2 or 3 teams. Like the Dutch Eredivisie is a good example of that. I mean, how often do like the top sort of 3 or 4 sides there lose points, teams away from home? Someone who likes a bet on a Sunday, quite often look at, and the price of Ajax away at Go Ahead Eagles on a Sunday is like fucking 10 to 1 on. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to play in a league that was like that.
I think to add with what Liam says, I think the fact that everyone is, I do think most teams are like, I do think there's some tiers there, but everyone outside Old Firm is capable of beating each other, and I think that's probably something that the league should be doing a much better job of promoting. You know, like Hibs went from 3rd to 6th, 5th at the weekend. Could have been worse if other results had went on. Again, we could jump back up to 3rd tomorrow night. We could drop to 8th or 9th. Like, it's no great for us, but I think that's something in a league. I think that's a positive, personally. But I think to answer his other bit, I don't think expectations are too high. I think maybe I think all of us would like to see a little bit more consistency from Hibs specifically than what we've seen in the last month. And I don't know if it's unrealistic to think we maybe should have picked up at least one more win in the period that we've just seen, you know. But generally, yeah, maybe a little bit too high expectation.
Okay. Just so we're not here for about another 3 hours, I'm going to just pick people to answer the questions now. So Jeff Ashton asked, stick with 3-5-2 or go back to 4-3-3. Greg, opinion?
3-5-2.
Ryan, opinion?
3-5-2 definitely gets the best out of certain players.
Ewan?
4-3-3.
Liam?
4-3-3.
I get the deciding vote, and I'll say 3-5-2 just because the players we've got available at the moment. So, up yours, Ewan and Liam. And then, second question, we'll just go to Greg on this one. Does it matter which system if individual errors undo all the good work? That was a no for those that didn't hear that. And then he said, thinking Neo CAD's portal for the error goals on Friday. Then he said, statement, Rocky was immense on Friday. Liam, opinion?
Aye, I'm struggling to say anyone's immense when centre half in the back three's conceded 4 goals. I'm sorry, but immense is no for me. I'm struggling to pinpoint many things that did wrong, but
I know you said you're asking the question, but I think on his individual battles, Rocky done really, really well on Friday night. But being part of a collective that was as wide open as it was in the second half, you know, that he's got to take some culpability for that.
I think in his defence, so the goals come from set pieces. Do you know? So it's not like
he's a centre half.
He's not lost his man at the corner, though, has he?
He doesn't control CAD and getting into the ball.
Are we really going to get into giving players credit because they didn't lose their man for set pieces? Is that what we're at?
He didn't make any mistakes that led to a goal, though. He didn't make any.
Yeah, we shit 4 goals, but at least he stuck with his man. He was immense. Sticking with your man. 10 out of 10.
Build him a statue.
It's basically just his job. Stick with a man. That's his job. Let's not start praising boys for doing the bare minimum.
In the first look,
boys. That was supposed to be a very quick boom question. And I was trying to get Liam in to have a quick boom answer, and it went to madness. We're moving on. Thank you, Jeff, for the question.
You can the whole format of a podcast is discussion, right?
And you can. We've been on for about an hour and a half already, you goober. And then we're going to go to Sean Steele, 1995, who Greg once declared as his best friend on the pod. I can't remember if that's true, but I'm going with it anyway. He said, pish performance on Friday, but I can't really complain, deserved what we got. More importantly, how did Greg's football team get on at the weekend?
The PG version, Greg.
You're allowed 1 pass a night, Greg, if you want to use it.
Nah. Listen, spoke enough about taking accountability and ownership. And I'll happily stand here and say we got beat 6-3. And like Hibs, we shot ourselves in the foot. So, yeah.
Not so much accountability is taken, but couple more bodies. That's what I heard.
But I tell you what, I'm certainly not going to say I was immense or outstanding for sticking a man at the corner.
Fucking hope not.
Oh no.
So,
but then another one. This is
ultimately that is my job. So.
Right. So
Sorry, Ryan.
second part of Sean's question was: do you prefer the newer East Stand or the old terrace version? Liam first.
I think the terracing for atmosphere. Nah, just the terracing full stop. Actually,
Yeah,
it looks better. What we've got now looks better, but the terracing for everything else.
I think I'd have to edge it for the new one purely because that's where my season ticket is now. But I never really sat in the terrace, and I was in there a few times, or stood in there a few times. But yeah, I think what we've got now is pretty good. And when the atmosphere does get going, it holds up well. It holds up really well, actually.
Ryan?
I'm just going to ask Greg if it's okay to say this. Terracing. Is that all right?
Mate, as long as you stick with your men at corners, that's absolutely fine by me.
I didn't praise him. I just said he didn't make any errors leading to goals, but
Yeah.
So Ryan, what's your answer?
Terracing. Terracing should be every football ground.
And Greg?
Terracing, not even a question.
I was too young to appreciate it at the time, and now I've got a seat that nobody else has ever owned, so I like that fact. So I like the new one, because I'm a big selfish bastard like that. And then Freddie 2323 said, "If you have a stick and you break it in half, would you have a broken stick or two sticks?"
He's definitely got the wrong podcast with that question, eh?
Again, but we should
It's
answer
got
it
the
anyway.
wrong
'cause
end of the
not
stick.
If you break a stick in half, you've got two sticks, eh?
Do you know
But you break it in half.
Have you not got two halves of a stick?
See, the thing is, if you put it into like a drumstick, like drumming and that,
if
you broke that in half,
right.
that'd be half a stick.
Logic here.
That'd be half a stick.
If you pick up one stick and you snap it in half, you've got two halves. But if you were to pick them, but if you've never seen it as one stick, then they would be two. That's what I'm saying.
Right, Freddie, we've not got anybody that can coherently answer your question.
Freddie that I'll ask someone who cares, so I'll go downstairs and ask my Labrador because he's quite into sticks.
Harry, see if you swapped a £1 coin for 250p's, do you have a pound or do you have 250p's?
Well, you still have a pound, don't you?
Well, there you go, you've got one stick.
I bet him.
That is dreadful.
Your
Next
head's
question,
wobbly.
please.
Logan Simpson said, "Favourite journey to an away day?"
Certainly no Friday night with him. He's a fucking mute. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Logan.
Is he just not able to get a word in edgeways?
No, he sat in the back seat and never said a fucking word.
To be fair, with the chatterboxes in the front seat, we can't blame the laddie. I would say the train from wherever it was in Denmark to Brøndby was class. That was unreal. Really enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed our journeys through Hampden last year in the buses.
Very true. But is that an away day? Does Hampden count as an away day? I don't know. That's like a neutral venue. You're away from home. I wouldn't call it an away day. Like that's something different.
Well, that's my answer.
Here, Harry, we've never talked about Dave Graham's mate in the pub before. Just pointed at Harry and was like, "Oh, there's that Harry boy. He's the boy that likes all these Spanish rebel songs."
Oh no! All right, before we get the podcast cancelled, let's move on. Jack Kell asked, "Is McCurdy actually injured, or is this a cover for a fallout with Lee Johnson?" Are we endorsing conspiracy theories on the podcast?
No, yes. Injured, but was he not injured before?
Was that a yes, he's injured, or a yes, he's fallen out with Lee Johnson?
Yes, we're endorsing conspiracy theories on the the podcast, I know that Greg, for example, believes that 5G is to blame for COVID. I know that
You talk so much shit.
I know that Ewan is a fully signed up flat earther because he has a Falkirk.
Can I trade in for the 5G one, please?
I don't know about you, Harry. You're from London. You're probably too well informed to be into conspiracy theories.
Oh, that's sweet.
And Ryan's not getting a slagging for Liam yet.
Oh no, I give Ryan plenty of slagging, so I'm just building up to it.
Right, well, Ryan, let's see if you've got a conspiracy theory. Is McCurdy injured, or is it just a fallout with Lee Johnson?
Well, there was an injury update just come out about 10 minutes before the pod, and he wasn't mentioned in it.
Ooh. Fuel with the fire.
Yeah, so Jack, there you go. We're sprinkling some spice on your question. And he also asked, what's your favourite movie of all time? Not the best movie, but your favourite movie. So if you have to rewatch a film that you've seen before, what are you sticking on that you know you'll enjoy? What?
Godfather. First
Solid.
one. You're getting value for money too, because it's quite long.
True.
The Gentleman.
Very good choice, to be fair. I was actually thinking that, but I thought if I said it, you'd slag me.
Eggshells, mate.
I don't think either of those two films really qualify as films you'd like watch one over and over again. Like they're good, they're epic, but I wouldn't watch them over and over again. I'd go for The Waterboy, Adam Sandler.
Another good choice. Ewan?
I don't know what to answer, mate.
Oh no, you have to know. It's a Disney film, isn't it? It's definitely a Disney film.
I can already. What Ewan says is The Notebook.
Nah, fuck no. I'll be honest. The film I've watched the most is probably the fifth Harry Potter. Genuinely, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter.
Do like a bit of Harry Potter, to be fair. Greg, disappointed you didn't pick Elf. Thought that would have been up there for you.
I'm not going to watch it. I don't know when I'm watching this film.
Greg, stop acting hard. Weekend, you'd happily watch fucking Elf in August. Stop talking a lot of shit. You'd happily watch
the
Elf
Christmas
in August.
veil has been undone. You don't have to pretend anymore. You're a free man. I can't think of a film off the top of my head, but Reservoir Dogs did come to mind. I think that was very enjoyable. So thank you, Jack, for not slandering me this week because Hibs lost. And then we've got Keith Robertson, who said, what is the rule with manager touchline bans? Is there a minimum distance they have to keep away from the dugout? So I looked into this, and you actually have to keep 750 centimetres away. So Jim Goodwin was well within his rights to be, but I've absolutely made that up. I was slightly surprised, to be honest, to see him sit that low down. It's not something that I think massively influenced the game.
No.
But I did. It just struck me as weird.
Someone go and tag that Scottish Football Referees podcast in it and see if they give us an answer.
It was just strange, wasn't it? Mind Wenger at Old Trafford. Mind he claimed he was in the stand. Mind he got sent off and stood at the hang. Did he not get told to move? When Arsenal got pumped, was it 8-2 or something?
I don't think it was the 8-2 game, but I know the game you're talking about. He was in with United fans and they were getting out tight the whole time.
Oh, it's iconic when he's like standing.
The issue with it's probably the ruling. He's obviously just played to the rules. The rules are the problem.
Yeah, he's in the stand.
Everyone's acting like he's some sort of tactical genius and it's made a huge difference. It's Jim Goodwin. I'd rather he was sitting in the dugout, to be honest.
It didn't surprise me though. It genuinely surprised me though if he got sanctioned for it or something, because I can't remember who it was, but a few years back, mind you used to see them on the phone. Someone got their ban extended because it was proved that they were on the phone it was down south though, so I don't know if it's the same up here.
What did Neil Lennon do? Did Neil Lennon get like a carrier pigeon or something and just like pass it wee notes and and get Gary Parker to shout at them? Do you know Gary Parker just opens the note and it just says kick it harder?
Make sure you're wearing the right studs.
Oh God. All right, well, Keith, apologies that we were of no help in answering your question there. But Billy, King of the North, has just broke my heart because he's just said, despite a successful loan spell, Bradley has been told he's free to leave. Will Mackay, Tate, EJ and Del Ferrier suffer the same fate? So in essence, is there any value in us loaning players out if we're never going to bring them into the first team?
Are you sticking with the only one else as a allowed to answer here? Or?
Right, Harry predicted Stevie Bradley was going to be Young Player of the Year because he had a 10-minute cameo against Hamilton.
And it was a fantastic 10-minute cameo where he hit the bar. It was great.
See, I can't really claim to have any knowledge of the League of Ireland, but is 6 goals and 3 assists anything to write home about?
Trees, is it? I think for comparison, I think Runa Hauga's got 2 and 2 in a shorter period of time, so it's not pulling up trees.
And I think as well,
No,
they all came in a very short burst, I don't know, at the start when he first went over, at least not all of them, but a good chunk of them came at the start of the season.
The goals did, aye.
She got a brace at one point as well.
Which is why Harry was talking about getting him recalled when he was scoring goals, saying he should be playing every week for Hibs.
But
Mate,
to answer the actual question,
he would have been fit more than Aidan McGeady.
to answer the question, Dylan Tate's done, Bradley's done. I think Del Fier still has a future at the club. He seen plenty of action under Johnson, and Emmanuel Johnson, I've not got a fucking clue.
Emmanuel Johnson.
EJ.
Civil service footballers, I reckon.
All right, well, we've got 2 questions from my sister. So she asked if we could together choose which 12 clubs would you have in an ideal Premiership season. So for one season, who would be the pinnacle? You can either have the games you want to play the most, or you can have the 12 biggest clubs, whatever you think. But we have to decide who it would be. I would kickstart to say at the moment you would probably have Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, just so you've got the big games in the season. And I'll leave the floor open to the next person that wants to add a team up.
Dunfermline.
I would have Dunfermline,
100%.
and I would probably have both Dundee clubs in.
Dundee Derby, in my opinion, has consistently been the best derby game in Scotland for the past 10 years.
Drama.
I'd have it in there. It's been good to watch.
There, then?
So that's us up to 8.
I'd have Ayr United.
Yeah.
Away day.
Would you have Ayr in there if you didn't have Kilmarnock?
Absolutely fuck them.
Funny, I was having a
We
similar
get Falkirk
conversation.
in just because I absolutely detest them.
I
can just scud them at every opportunity.
I want Falkirk to be in the Lowland League within 2 years. That's my ambition.
I think
um,
I'm going up against Open Goal Broomhill every week.
I think Motherwell probably hold their own in there. Good away day.
Just
Decent
for
away day.
longevity.
Pretty good following. Pretty
Good away
good
stand.
away day.
Just in terms of having a proper away day, would you throw either of the 2 Highland clubs in there?
I was going to say there's maybe an argument for both.
Wouldn't they have both? They're too small.
They should be playing in the Icelandic League, mate.
So I think we've got space. So are we getting on Motherwell?
So let's run through them, right? Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, 2 Dundee clubs, Dunfermline. If we're going with Motherwell, we're at 9. We've got Ayr United. Are we all in agreement there?
Aye.
Would you have Ayr United if you didn't have Kilmarnock?
I'd rather Ayr United than Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
Aye, same. Fuck Kelly.
Right, so we're at 10. We've got space for 2.
Can we get Greenock Morton in there as well? As long as we
I like that as an away day, by the way.
midweek away for home
Aye.
in the middle of winter.
Get them stuck in.
Well, this isn't a hypothetical ideal league, so if we're making it up, I'm sure we could put these stipulations in, Greg.
I actually really like Capello, to be fair.
It's nice. No roof for that, but it's decent in the sun.
One mayor. Who we?
Berwick Rangers. Berwick Rangers, there you go.
Oh, mate, they're an English team. Get them to fuck.
Says Rangers.
Good away day.
That's true. That's true. But
Queen's Park, if they ever fucking build Lesser Hampden.
Meadowbank Thistle. There you go.
yeah, here I'd have Partick Thistle. I've still not been there yet, just so I can get there on the way day.
I quite like Partick Thistle's ground.
It's alright, yeah.
Right, so let's agree. Who's that last team going to be? I reckon Queen's Park. Why not just throw them in?
Stirling Albion.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Stirling Albion. No complaints from me.
Good scran.
It's a good trip, Stirling. Like good users in that.
Good few pubs in there as well. Like I know that from my student days. Believe it or not.
Molly Malone's.
Good.
Oh, cracking pint in there. And then Bex's second question: which Hibs player would win a bleep test?
Emmanuel Johnson.
Johnson. Just to confirm, you're all aware
mentality.
And who would that be, Greg?
Probably none of them.
Certainly.
Don't know. Maybe Ryan's got a good answer about tracking the beat. Go on, Ryan. Take the floor.
Rocky Bashiri.
Ooh, that is a terrible answer. He'd be. Would he actually be good at a bleep test?
I don't know. You just said it was terrible before you even thought about it.
I
mate.
didn't.
I'm just kidding. Kyle McGuinness would probably be the one because he's an absolute machine. Him or Chris Carden.
I was thinking Cad. I reckon Cad would be good
Campbell.
at one.
Which member of the coaching staff would win out the coaching staff?
Jamie McAllister looks fit enough.
Whoever's got the longest legs.
No Lee Johnson anyway.
Correct.
Lee Johnson's no one in it. No.
David Gray's got the mentality. He just never give up.
Harry, is that the last question? Is that why we've just hit a lullaby?
No, we've got one more question because you kind of question that I've not asked yet. But a certain Mr. John Macken. So wait, sorry for Bex's sake, if I didn't give a proper answer, she'll kill me. So I would say Cadden.
I'm Campbell.
Cool,
Cadden,
buddy.
probably.
Kyle McGuinness.
Kyle McGuinness. There you go. 2 for McGuinness. Bex. McGuinness wins. And then the last question, it's in 2. John asked, who's been our best player this year so far? If the season ended now and it was player of the year, who would you give it to?
David Marshall.
Ryan's not here, so he'd say Rocky Bashiri.
I'll say it on his behalf, Rocky.
Nah, I would say best player so far. Fucking tough one, eh?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll mix it up. So I'll
Marshall.
say different
say
players.
Marshall.
Good call, Liam.
I think Marshall would win it right now. You know, if it was actually voted on, I think Marshall would win.
I think some people probably vote for Offie and Marciano because I find there's a better keeper.
I'll give it Josh Campbell. Josh Campbell, because he's won us most points this season.
I can't remember who tweeted it, but when Marciano retired, someone tweeted saying, "Folk are on here acting like he's the Jewish Dino's off," and I was honestly absolutely.
Wait, Marciano retired?
No, when he left Hibs.
Right.
I can't remember. It was like when he left Hibs, and I was like, I was rolling at the Jewish Dino's off. It was so good.
His kicking was dreadful. Look
It
at
was so
Marshall.
bad.
Zipping the ball 70 yards and everything.
Because see, the thing is, like, people, like, because Macy's kicking was bad, they forget how bad Marciano was for it. Like, he was bad at putting the ball about. But the most important question, guys, what are you having for dinner? Or what have you had for dinner?
So I've had mine.
I've had what did I have? Spicy sausage tortellini.
Nice. Greg?
Bacon steaks with cheese, caramelised onions, and savoury rice because I'm an athlete.
You are indeed, mate. You are indeed.
What about low fat cheese then?
Eh?
Is it low fat cheese because you're an athlete?
Cheese is full of protein, mate.
I
I'm all about the protein.
Let Liam tell his dinner.
Chicken, broccoli, mushrooms, and a bit of mozzarella on top. Just because you can't have a pasta without cheese.
I thought that was just starting as a Harry slagger there. Like, I actually
Chicken,
didn't.
mushrooms, broccoli, and mozzarella. Harry has chicken and rice, massively different than broccoli.
Can we just get it right that mushrooms are class and anyone that's like them is a wee guy?
Grow up, eh? Fucking elite.
No for me. No for me.
Oh, shut up, Specky. Why didn't you?
You were saying he likes him, yet?
I agreed with you, dick face.
Just as well.
You just took the.
And broccoli as well is elite.
What's your favourite version of broccoli? I like tender stem.
Aye, tender stem. Tender stem for me. Cook it.
I've got a gochujang prawn and tomato tortiglione.
Where'd you get that for?
It's gusto. Aye.
Gusto. Aye.
Mate.
Tory.
Fuck off! That's not Tory. It's fucking cheap as shit.
You don't just say tomato pasta.
Cooked by the local Conservative Association.
Who's tomato pasta? You wouldn't. It's got prawns in it. I wouldn't have got tomato pasta. You goober.
Served with a side of fascism and looking down on the working class.
All right, I'm handing the reins
Only
back
to beat an ivory
for final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
How much of a car crash is this episode?
I know. Final thoughts. Hibs were really, really bad on Friday, which sometimes makes it really fucking hard to talk about. And I don't think we'll ever do an episode with 5 again. We've covered our bases with everyone having a lot of stuff going on, and for some fucking reason, not one of us had plans tonight. But aye.
I've just seen a tweet. I read this out just before you finish, seeing as we're on tangents. James Sands and Giovanni van Bronckhorst allegedly got into a heated altercation in the dressing room with the American supposedly telling him that he was tripping dog.
Jurgen Prop till the end of the season.
Oh, Jurgen Prop. That's fucking so good, man.
Yeah, so we're on Clyde SSB tonight, I'm sure, said Jurgen Prop as manager with Kenny Miller as assistant. I would absolutely love that.
They'll say the Rangers fans didn't want him to take Marvin Bartley with them, eh?
See before we go.
You can come.
See before we go. Just before we go, this is going to be our last episode, probably.
Ever.
We're not done before. Done ever. Yes. 138 episodes.
That bad, we're calling it a day.
No, who's going to win the World Cup? Because I don't know what we're going to be recording like in the World Cup. So
nobody cares.
No, quickly.
Not one person cares.
Do you ken who I think might win it? I reckon, given that they basically paid for the World Cup, I reckon Qatar will pay off all the officials and they'll win it.
Harry?
If a person can openly be gay and attend a football match, I'm not going to watch a football competition take place, so I don't give a flying fuck you.
I think that's a good place to end on, actually. Greg, you made your point. I tried.
I've already said I don't care.
I do fancy Brazil, though, seriously.
Yeah.
Brazil, probably.
The Messi arch, though, of finishing on his 1000th game does sound pretty cool.
Eh?
If Messi plays every single game and Argentina win it, he wins it on his 1000th career game, which is pretty cool.
Oh, Harry, come on, it's not a fucking Disney film, it's a World Cup. Eh?
I definitely know a Disney film, definitely.
I do think Brazil, eh? I do think Brazil.
Another tangent, Followed Hibs was a Disney film. No, I'm joking. Right, no, we'll be back at some point, probably next Monday, and then there might be a wee break during the World Cup. We're not entirely sure what we're going to fill the time with. Certainly not be watching the World Cup by the sounds of it. But yes, cheers for listening. If you've got this far, then fair play, because we all tapped it about 20 minutes ago. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.